Welcome back into another edition of Tavern Takes. I will be your host tonight, Josh. Cole is currently driving home and probably depressed from a tough Badger game tonight, but we will get
It's
to
been a
that.
rough night. It's been a rough night for Colby.
I got the usuals here, Will and Sawyer. Welcome in, boys.
Glad to be here. Glad to be back.
Let's talk a little ball from today, huh? Briefly, I'll touch base on last night, just where we kind of left off last night. Not gonna really go too into this, but we kind of left off at UConn, Oklahoma. UConn did end up winning that game 67-59. The last three games of that night, Illinois Xavier, Illinois won 86-73. Michigan State Bryant, Michigan State won 87-62. And Oregon Liberty, Oregon won 81-52.
No surprises.
Any comments on any of those, or
no shocks? I would say like the Michigan State game was close for like them winning by 25. It was closer than that score implies, but nothing overly interesting happened.
Yeah. So
I was hoping Oklahoma would win. I think they're easier
I'm glad
for
they didn't.
Florida, but
that makes it for a more fun tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean it's been a pretty boring so far, but
this tournament has been boring. Can we just say it?
Yeah, I mean it's the NCAA tournament. It's always a little bit exciting, but compared to other tournaments, it's been a little boring. Yeah.
So that basically moves us into today. First game of the day being Purdue McNeese. McNeese just looked awful. And Purdue just dominated them from the get-go. It wasn't even 76-62 was the final, but it felt much bigger than that.
Yeah, that even feels closer than the score is closer than what it felt like.
Yeah.
Purdue, that game was never close. Purdue dominated from start to finish. Do you guys think that that's a result of Purdue being good, or McNeese maybe not being the greatest of challengers and their coach announcing that he's taking another job and just maybe not the most formidable opponent there?
I think the luck ran out.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think I mostly think McNeese just wasn't like they just can't. They wouldn't have beaten Purdue. I just think their luck ran out. Yeah, like Will said, I don't have any words. I still don't really think Purdue's like super great by any metric, really, outside of guard play.
Good guards,
but I think McNeese just they had fun in the first round, and Mr. Aura is unfortunately not in the tournament anymore. So,
yeah, bro, we won't be able to see the boombox anymore. Shout out Amir.
So it's fun.
R.I.P. the run.
We
were hoping for a long run for him, but
you kind of knew though. You kind of knew.
He got a lot of NIL money though.
Yeah, that guy is set.
He got a bag.
He got a bag. Good for the next game though.
Shout out Mr. Aura. Yeah, going into the next game, Arkansas St. John's. Probably the best coaching matchup, maybe of the tournament, outside of the previous Bill Self and showing. Coach Cal and Patino, they hate each other.
Do they hate each other?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
I think it's two passionate Italians who have a lot of love for each other, and it comes across as hate because they're Italian.
They just yell at.
I think they're just passionate guys. I think they like each other deep down. There's a respect there, I think.
Yeah, there's probably respect there. Both of them have beaten each other in the past too, so they gotta.
I feel like Cal's been on the winning side a lot on that.
Yeah.
So, do we fear any of these two teams? I'm looking at the stat sheet. St. John's shot 28%.
They weren't good.
I mean, St. John's is better than they played today. I was never
2 of 22.
Like I know people. My dad, for example, took him to win the title. I thought that was crazy.
I had him in the Final Four. I liked them.
I think that's crazy too. Honestly, I watched a lot of them this year. I never thought they were world beaters by any means.
You had them in the Final Four over your own Florida.
Then I have them in the Elite Eight. Then
okay,
I have Florida. I have Florida winning it all.
I was just saying that's the same region.
I had them deep enough, and they hurt. I didn't. I kind of mixed them up in a couple because I have a couple brackets, but
fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Arkansas team, they're wildly talented. You can't deny that.
They're talented.
It's a Cal team.
There's NBA talent on that roster. They're good. Their guard play is good. Their big guys are maybe not the greatest, but they're fun. And if they play like they played today, I mean, they can beat anybody on any given day. I believe that.
They're the definition of don't let them get hot.
Don't let them get hot. And now you're looking at a really hot Arkansas team, and it might say 10 next to their name, but they're better than a 10 seed. It's not a 10 seed I want to play. Like, normally when you're seeing a double-digit seed in the Sweet 16, you're kind of thinking
that run might be over.
Yeah. I'm not looking at that matchup thinking it's advantageous.
Yeah.
That's a good team.
They are a good team.
And I mean, they shot 10% from 3 and 1.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't need to shoot well to win. I mean, it helps when the other team's shooting equally as bad.
2 of 22.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this game?
Shout out Coach Cal.
Yep.
Shout out Coach Cal. I mean,
that suit was fire today, by the way.
Yeah, it was. It was on
suit.
point.
I think he stole it from Nate Oates, but it was a good suit.
Oh yeah, you did say that. You did say that when we were all in person.
He's got a similar one. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but I know Nate Oates has a similar one in the bag.
Yeah.
But Coach Cal, think about what we thought of him a year ago. Obviously, they lose to Oakland in that 3-14 matchup to where we are now. It just shows how fast things can change in college basketball and the craziness of a single elimination tournament. And where earlier in the year, it didn't look like they were going to make the tournament. Their best player gets hurt. And it was a long shot for Arkansas to even make the tournament at that point. And now here we are. They're in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Is that a young team for Arkansas?
They're younger. A lot of those guys are going to the league. Like Boogie Flan's going to the league. EJ Wagner's maybe back, but could probably be a late first, early second guy. Jonas Adu, he's done. He was a graduate.
Kyle's going to reload, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's never going to have probably guys in there.
Cal always does. So, yeah, with that being said, that game went final 75-66. Moving on to Michigan, Texas A&M, which I kind of thought was actually kind of a fun game.
It was till the end.
I got to say, for starters, shout out Texas A&M. They helped me cover their -1.5 cover at half. That did not look like that was going to happen until literally the last 13
You got to thank Michigan for that. Michigan missed about 5 wide open layups late in that first half. Michigan should have won 20.
What's the saying, boys? Great teams. No,
good teams win, great teams cover. However, Texas A&M did not cover their final. Michigan winning 91-79. That was relatively back and forth up until kind of the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead, Will.
I was going to say it was 39-35 at half, and Michigan won 56-40 in the second half. So it's definitely the tale of two halves for them. But it was towards the end. I didn't catch the whole of this team. I didn't catch all of the game, but I caught most of the first half, and it was pretty close till the end.
Gale had 26 off the bench. I think that was I'm 99% sure that's a season high for him. So that's obviously showing up in a big moment there. But ultimately, I just think Michigan's size kind of took over towards the later half of that game. It felt like Golden and Wolf were just getting whatever they wanted.
I was gonna say, does this kind of pose a question, especially with their size? Is Michigan dangerous? I think they're dangerous.
I think they're really dangerous. They're a weird matchup, man. They got a 7-footer that handles the ball. It's tough.
They're hot.
That.
And it is a season high.
It is a season high. Yeah, he played. That's the best I've seen him look. Talented guy, but he's never shot the ball like that before.
I know we've talked about it pretty much all year with this Michigan team, but granted, this game wasn't necessarily close, but coming up Sweet 16 and on, like if they're in a close game, I just can't. I don't know if I can doubt Michigan losing a close game.
That's the
They
thing. Like
win.
you said, it didn't really come down to it tonight, but going forward in this tournament, when they're in, if they're able to keep a team close, like they just kind of got that confidence at the end of games where it just like they think they're going to win. And
If they're within 6, I don't doubt that they're not gonna pull away with a win. Like
that's just the feeling they have. They've been doing it all year.
They just win close games. Like I said, this wasn't necessarily a close game, but it's just what they've done all year. And moving forward, obviously, it's going to get harder. And I don't know. Like
they're facing Auburn, so
they're going to play a great team. But
am I afraid of Auburn?
I'll say it right now. I like Michigan to win that game.
I almost kind of do too.
I might be a prisoner of the moment here, but like the way they play with their bigs, like they match up size-wise, they match up athletically with Auburn, I think. And
yeah,
it would be fun. It would be fun if Izzo is able to win out, and then they'd be Michigan State.
Michigan State, yeah.
That'd be very fun.
That'd be cool.
Dusty May's been to a Final Four this decade. 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
That'd be very fun.
That would be fun. Drake, Texas Tech. Texas Tech wins 77-64. I will say I did really not watch any of this. So if you guys got any content on this one.
This was kind of the game that got lost in the shuffle, sort of, because that Michigan game ended up taking so long, and it was such a good game that I was
and then
watching.
Wisconsin was right away.
And then Wisconsin started right after. I didn't watch a ton of this game either, but it went about how I expected it to go.
Yeah.
Texas Tech's a really good team.
Yeah,
I didn't think Drake was going to get here. Drake finally got his L. Texas Tech shot 53% overall. I don't know what's up with none of these teams can shoot threes. Drake did go 8 of 17. That's what kept them in it, but 42% from overall, and it wasn't a very close game from what I saw. So
ain't no stopping JT Toppin. 25 and 12.
He's been playing really well.
He's a good player.
he's a good player.
Is he going to be just like his brother though? Really good in college and not so great in the NBA. A role player.
He's an okay NBA player.
He's a role player.
Yeah, he's nice.
Are they even related, or did I just make that up? That JT Toppin and OT?
Honestly, not sure. You said it. I went. I don't know if it's true or not.
I went full force. I don't even think they're related.
Same last name. It's close enough.
Yeah, they're probably.
No, they're not related.
They're not related?
They're not related.
Confirmed, not related. Okay.
Ain't no stopping JT Toppin, though.
Ain't no stopping. Not related to Obi Toppin. Anything else on this game, really? I know none of us, like you said, I kind of got lost in the shuffle there.
Yeah, that was the one game that kind of got lost tonight.
Yeah. Auburn Creighton. Auburn ends up pulling it out 82-70. I thought Creighton was going to do it at half when I looked at the score at half and turned it on for a little while. They look good, but Auburn just ended up looking better.
Creighton looked good in the first half. They hung around with them. I know on this podcast I did say Creighton was going to win this game. I ended up backtracking on that later, but
came to your senses.
Yeah, came to their sense. Ultimately, Auburn was just deeper and better. But Creighton was formidable. They gave him a game. I don't know. Ashworth and Cockbrenner played well for Creighton. Going down the line for Auburn, Janai Broome hasn't played well in a while.
I was just gonna say that he has not had a good tournament. He's shooting.
Didn't have a good SEC
40%. Yeah, I mean, he had 23 against Tennessee. They lost, and 23 against Ole Miss. He didn't have terrible, but he's been awful this tournament. 40% from the field. He's only averaging 11 points a game.
That's reason for concern, especially when you're about to play a team like Michigan, who has two really good bigs.
Yeah, that was to say.
You need him to be the best player on the floor in that game.
It feels like two teams on opposite trajectories, right? Like Auburn did not have a strong end to the season, and now heading into the tournament, they just beat teams. And then Michigan I just feel like they're just up and up and up. They went the conference tournament, and now they feel like they're hot. They're the hot team heading in there, and that's just what you need in March. It'll be interesting to watch.
all about getting hot at the right time.
I'm excited for it. There is Pettiford, the freshman. That kid's a stud. I love watching that kid. He shoots the shit out of the ball. He's good.
He shot 20. He had 23, 7 of 14, and 2 of 3 from 3.
He's good. He's a stud.
As a freshman, that's pretty fucking good.
I don't know where he's at in mock drafts right now. I don't know if I can't. I don't think I've seen him in the first round of a lot of mock drafts. I could be wrong there, but
he's an Auburn player, so he's going to be in college forever anyway.
He's going to be 25. We're going to be talking about him 5 years from now.
You're probably not wrong.
Medical redshirt year in there. He'll be 23.
Yeah.
The 2031 Auburn team. He's going to be.
We're going to be talking about him like all those 25-year-olds like we are this year. We're going to skip one game that we will get to in a minute. Move on to basically the final 2 games of the night, and then we'll backtrack because it might be a little bit of fireworks on the game that I think everybody knows what we're talking about. So, Houston Gonzaga. Gonzaga, I think, gave them a scare.
They did. I mean, Gonzaga beat them 49-46 in the second half. You know, if it wasn't for Houston coming out strong in the first half, they were in trouble. Only a 5-point game. I was surprised. I thought Houston was just going to just walk through these first 2 games.
I actually picked Houston to win the whole thing in a couple brackets here. And I really like Houston. And I was nervous about this game coming in because I think Gonzaga's an incredibly good 8 seed. Probably a little underseeded there.
You told me they sucked.
I've switched my tune on them multiple times throughout the course of this year. They play good basketball.
That's the reason why I picked Georgia.
I picked Gonzaga, so I don't know why you guys picked Georgia. But to see the way Houston came out in that game, it gave me a lot of confidence in my pick with them. I think this was a tough game for them. And Gonzaga has good size, so does Houston, but they handled it well. I like what's going on in Houston right now. Kelvin Sampson hasn't played. They're going to be in the Final Four. You can lock that in right now. It's a matter of if they can beat the top end teams. But I like what's going on in Houston right now.
That defense is just so insanely good. It's just ridiculous.
And LJ Cryer, there's another 25-year-old for you, but he has 30 tonight. Those guys are old and they're good and they play how Kelvin Sampson wants them to play. And Kelvin Sampson's one of the best coaches in the sport.
Yeah, Purdue next.
He's awesome.
I think they're going to roll Purdue. I don't expect that game to be close.
Yeah, I think I actually agree. Which is like kind of backtracking to the Purdue McNeese thing. Purdue's not going to be able to hang with them.
I don't think so either. I think they'll roll them.
Yeah. Okay, basically moving on to the game that's just going on right now. Tennessee's going to win. So I guess that's.
Yeah, it's not close. Minute 30 left.
Really close.
UCLA is up 14.
UCLA gave them a first half, but Tennessee's just better.
Ignore my cat in the background.
I think we're gonna have Houston, Tennessee,
which could be fun.
That's going to be Tennessee on a collision course here.
Yeah,
because I think it's Illinois, Tennessee next,
and I think Illinois
plays Purdue in that matchup.
You think Illinois beats Kentucky tomorrow?
Well, okay. It depends what Illinois team I think shows up. Honestly, if they get hot, man, they don't stop.
Yeah.
It truly depends what Illinois.
Oh yeah, I assumed Illinois won. Yeah.
You're assuming Illinois is beating Kentucky.
Speaking it into existence.
I'm just looking at my bracket and I'm like, yeah, that's what I want.
If we move forward, though, Tennessee-Houston would be great basketball to watch.
Yeah, circle that one. I would enjoy that game a lot.
And me being now a full-blown Vols fan because my other team sucks.
Come on, the Gator bandwagon. There's plenty above over here.
Nah, man, I've been riding with Tennessee for a while outside of Wisconsin, so we're sticking.
You have said that before, but Gators are better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. But,
I just hope I get a win tomorrow, so then I get the easiest $25 I could have ever made.
Oh, and for speaking of that, actually, for all you Tavern Takes listeners out there, in case anybody was wondering about the wager placed today, Sawyer did pay his wagers. So
yeah, I did have to give that
I
money.
just wanted to say it because I think it's a good segue into the unfortunate BYU Wisconsin game. Naturally, as a Wisconsin fan, I would say I would lead on it, but I'm curiously wanting Sawyer to lead on this.
So
I want to hear what you have to say.
I have a larger point, which I'll get to after this initial conversation. But where I'm at with Wisconsin basketball right now is, how do you truly feel about Greg Gard and the direction of this program? Because I think a year ago there was a lot of questions, and because the offense was so good and they actually played fun basketball this year, it seems like everybody forgave him before we got to the actual problem, which the problem with him is he hasn't done well in the tournament. So we get here and the results are basically the same. Sure, they get out of the first round. They don't get upset. But you then lose the second round game to a lesser team. BYU is a good team, not a great team.
So you're early on them.
Yeah, a good lesser team.
Yeah, they're a fine team. Like it's not necessarily a catastrophic, embarrassing loss. Like they're not
naturally the grand we should have won because we are a better team. BYU played a fucking hell of a lot better than us. Okay, to answer your Greg Gard question, and I do want to get to this because I was always on the Greg Gard train. I never came off of it. I was actually telling the people who wanted him fired,
you're a loyal guy. You tend to stick with your guys.
Who do you get that's better right now? And that was me saying that last year.
TJ
right?
Otzelberger.
But that was last year when Iowa State's still good.
Yeah.
Is he leaving Iowa State? Probably not. I mean,
better program.
Maybe
plus he recruits Wisconsin really well.
And maybe for a Wisconsin team that, that's where his roots are and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, being a Wisconsin fan, we're not going to fire Greg Gard. It's not really a Wisconsin thing to do. And we still, outside of 2 years in his tenure, we still consistently make the tournament. I understand your
But before him, you never missed the tournament. Is the thing.
I know.
Wisconsin has made the tournament.
You've gone down from Bo Ryan to Greg Gard, you've gone down a notch in terms of the premier programs in college basketball.
So Wisconsin made the Sweet 16 in 2017.
Yep.
Ever since they've missed the tournament in 2018, they lost in the first round in 2019, and they missed it again in 2020. Then they lost in the second round in 2021.
Yep.
Lost in the second round in 2022.
2020, there was no tournament for the record. They would have made it.
I stand corrected. That they did miss it in 2023.
Correct.
Then they lost to James Madison in the first round last year, and then this year they lost in the second round.
So I will say, last year comparatively to this year, and I think Cole has touched on this, and I do kind of agree with him that I don't think Wisconsin fans necessarily were world beaters in that JMU matchup, rather than this tournament where we thought we were definitely better than a handful of teams that we probably could have ran into. I think the deeper run could have been and should have been this year.
What was your minimum expectation coming into this tournament?
Minimum expectation for me was Sweet 16. Unfortunately, that didn't. Because getting the region that we got, Montana, say what you want, Sawyer, but we were always going to be Montana. But But I truly thought we should have and could have beat BYU or VCU. Obviously, that didn't happen. But we would have ran into, if they win, we would have ran into Alabama next, and that's where the issues probably would have started. Do I think we can make it a game? Sure, especially with the injuries that they have. But my minimum was Sweet 16. My max was probably Elite 8 because we would have ran into Duke then. So like, it's just in that
you expected to be in the second weekend.
I expected to be in the second weekend, yes.
And so you're not getting there. The last time you were there, I was 21 years old.
I know.
I turned 30 next week.
You bring it up all the time. I know.
Yeah, it's my favorite stat. I was 21 years old the last time Wisconsin was in the second weekend of the tournament. I turned 30 next week. I'm an old man.
Lost to Florida, by the way.
They did Chiozo.
Yeah, that was that running 3-point. I remember I was at Greystone, fucking the only Gator fan.
That was such heartbreak. I was at my parents throwing a party that they didn't even know about, and I blacked out that night.
I was at Cole's parents' house, and I left silent with a smile.
And I will say, even just speaking of heartbreak, we can keep going on the loss all we want, but just I even said it. My cousin Ty was here tonight to watch the game, and I said, we never deserved to win this game, but in typical Wisconsin sports fashion, it became heartbreak rather than just like get our dicks kicked in. It ended up being Tanjay with the ball last, 2 points, all you needed to tie to go into overtime. Like, it's just every freaking Wisconsin sports team is just heartbreak fashion, and it just sucks.
And so you brought up Tanjay. I think that segues into my greater point.
I figured you were getting this. So.
My greater point with Wisconsin basketball right now is you're building that team through the transfer portal, right? Like, your best player this year, you didn't have him last year. This is the only year you're going to have him. So, like, emotionally, I think it makes it easier for you to move on. Comparative to like me last night, I lose last night with 3 guys who have been on the team for 4 years. Yeah. And I feel like I know them. I don't know them, but like I feel like I know them.
I get what you're saying.
I've heard them talk for 4 years. Yeah. I've watched them go from 18-year-olds to 23-year-olds.
It's the same thing as when our 14-15 stretch with Becker, Gosser,
right.
All these guys. I know. I totally get you.
But I guess my greater question is, like, do you miss that part of it? Like, because like, even though it ends in a loss, like I watched a Cam Jones press conference last night, and when he started choking up, like talking, I started choking up watching it.
Do I miss like
gives a press conference tonight and he starts choking up? Like, are you choking up with him or not really? You don't really know the guy.
Tonight, yeah, but like tomorrow, probably not as much. And I will be honest, probably not as much. He's been the most like fun player that I've seen, in Johnny Davis also. But
when was the last time a Wisconsin player dropped 37?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like offensive scoring and stuff, he's been the most fun we've had in some time. Let's be real.
I mean, since Johnny Davis did that semi-regularly. That wasn't that long ago.
Feels like a long time ago. Shout out Johnny Davis.
But I guess what I'm getting at, and to answer your point, I guess, will I miss it tonight? Yes. Do I understand like where you're coming from as far as like the emotional attachment to players? I do, but it was a long time ago for me because that happened so long ago.
Yeah.
We're gonna go portaling. I know Cole's been talking about what's his name from Iowa, but then he's not gonna stay that long either. The NIL, I mean, maybe not necessarily Marquette as much, but the NIL is gonna kind of, for almost every team, it's gonna ruin a lot of the emotional attachment for people because people are gonna go on and on and on, year after year. Does that help for me and my own emotional attachment to my team? I feel like it's a little easier it's heartbreak loss, but is it easier to get over? Yeah, probably.
But I feel like you move on faster because like next week you're going to be like, oh, what players coming in, like what's this guy? Like next week I'm gonna be like, I know the guys we already have are gonna be like working on their jumpers.
Right.
Like that's what next week looks like for me. I'm not like, oh, this guard from Central Arkansas just declared for the portal. Like maybe we can get
It's like free agency.
Yeah.
I tell you
Do
what.
you build to the draft or do you go free agency? Wisconsin has to replace 6 seniors.
I tell you what, I will say the one person that I'm not going to miss, and he kind of certified it for me tonight, was Stephen Crowell. Not going to miss Stephen Crowell.
No,
I'm not. He kind of did it for me tonight. That like right before half, there was like a 5-point swing where he just turned the ball over like on a stupid freaking turnover, and it was
a really
bad
bad shot at the end of that.
Yeah. It was just terrible clock management by
the 14
him
seconds left. You should never
stand alone, him alone. It was his clock management that made it like from an 8-point game to maybe a 5-point game to an 11-point game.
I find myself like harping on like 14-year-olds when I'm coaching, like teaching them that aspect of the game. I don't think you should have to teach a 22-year-old, 23-year-old.
I mean, you should.
That aspect of the game.
You
don't take that shot with 14 seconds left in the first half.
That pissed me off so much.
It was bad.
That was so bad. It was just brutal. But no, I mean, yeah, we took the punch. You took the punch last night live. I'm here to take the punch because our other friend didn't want to take the punch. So I'm okay with it.
The producer will be on tomorrow.
Yeah, don't worry. He'll get his.
Yeah. So I did tell you.
He'll have an excuse and he'll have a cold take.
He's gonna talk about he will touch base on that Iowa transfer. I never remember his name, but
Owen Freeman or something.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, anything else that you got from that game or anything you want to talk? Tennessee ended up winning, by the way. We all kind of did that.
They made it under 10. 58-67.
It'll close.
I guess real quick, what we could do, and I know we did this last night too. So if you want to just run through the games, see for tomorrow, see who you got real quick, just a quick burnout.
Sure.
All right. So tomorrow, starting off with kind of a fun one, maybe, hopefully for Will, Florida UConn. I got Florida. They're better. I think UConn.
I think it'll be a fun game. I think it'll be closer than we think. But
I think if Florida gets their scare, it's this one.
I hope not, but I can see it.
1 to 10, how nervous are you, Will?
4.
That's a good answer, I think. You shouldn't, based on talent, you shouldn't be nervous. I would be more nervous, I think. But I expect Florida.
Will, you are the first game tomorrow, so there's some.
I know, 11 o'clock,
early
bro.
Morning
I don't
game.
like it.
I don't know. Where's that game?
I don't like.
It's on the East. It's on the West Coast. So.
I don't like that at all.
2 East Coast teams playing on the West Coast. Who gets their guys up earlier in the morning? I bet you it's
Florida
early.
I could see. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I bet it's damn early.
I'd be interested to see which bus arrives first. I bet you UConn's bus gets there first.
We're gonna be looking at the pregame show for that.
I bet you UConn's bus gets to the arena first.
I wouldn't bet against
nervous. That's all I'm saying. I would be nervous.
I'm not nervous. I think
two-time defending champ, and you're at a 4.
It's a 9.5 point spread.
They are 9.5 points better than them, I think, talent-wise.
Yeah.
That being said, Solo Ball hits 7 or 9 threes. Anything can happen.
So
I don't think it'll be a 10-point game, but I think they'll win.
Alex Caravan remembers that he's supposed to be like an NBA player and not a bum. All of a sudden, UConn's up 6 with like 4 minutes left. It's like, oh shit, we didn't expect to be here.
I think 2 things. I think Florida's just overall athleticism and size is they're gonna have a hard time with that. UConn's not that big.
No, they're not.
Sawyer, who you got?
I got Florida.
All right.
I'm just trying to make Will nervous.
It's not working.
Next game.
I'm ready for my $25 tomorrow.
That's true. You might be $25 richer tomorrow. if you can get a hold of Kobe.
He might remain on airplane.
Duke Baylor. I think it's pretty hands down.
I think it'll be a fun game. I think BJ is gonna get some buckets.
I was gonna say, can I say something crazy?
Go for it.
VJ Edgecombe's gonna be the best player on the floor.
I've been a big BJ fan the whole.
Duke's gonna have
tournament,
2 through 6, but VJ Edgecombe's the best player on the floor.
So what's more important, 2 through 6 or the number 1?
2 through 6.
You
yeah,
got
because it's like the
Duke's
gap
gonna win.
is the
Duke's
gap
gonna win.
is.
Yeah.
Duke's gonna win, but
Illinois, Kentucky, which I think could be fun.
I think the Fibs got this.
you
Yeah.
already counted it as a win for Illinois.
Yeah, I did. I did pick
Yeah,
one of my
yeah,
brackets.
that's true. You already did mark this one as a win for Illinois. I got Illinois too, though.
I'm going Kentucky. Tip my sister, Mark Pope tipped my sister $600 when he
Yeah,
was in.
so-
Yeah,
so-
yeah, I bet against them.
So now I'm a Mark Pope guy, I guess. So go Kentucky.
Shout out
Blue.
Mark Pope. Shout out Shauna. St. Mary's, Alabama. Can St. Mary's give Alabama problems?
No,
I hope not. I didn't even think St. Mary's would be here.
Yeah,
I don't think they should be here. I think they got away with one. They came back and stole one from Vanderbilt.
and you are a notorious Nate Oates guy too, so you would never pick.
I
St.
love Nate Oates. Yeah, I'm not going to pick against Nate
Yeah.
Oates.
I got Alabama too, though.
Roll Tide.
Colorado State, Maryland. I'm gonna go the dog here.
You going Colorado State?
I'm gonna go the dog just because we need to spice it up, and I think I really like this Colorado State team.
I think this is the best game of the day. I think this is going to be a really fun, up tempo, a lot of scoring, good game.
They can shoot, man. Colorado
They
State.
can shoot. Maryland can fill it up.
Yeah.
This is a fun game. I'm going to take Maryland, but it's
Same.
going to be a fun game.
I think so too. It'll be a nice time too for it. 6-10.
One of these other double-digit seeds needs to make a Sweet 16. So Colorado State, we're gonna ride with them.
It's also a good game next too.
Yeah, Ole Miss, Iowa State. I'm gonna go Iowa State just because I got them picked further in my bracket, but I do think this is kind of an awesome game. This slate of games is freaking awesome, dude.
Tomorrow's
Yeah.
going to be a good day of basketball.
Oh, I had Ole Miss. I have Ole Miss winning this one.
I
like-
originally picked Ole Miss, but I'm switching to Iowa State. I liked what I saw from them.
They look good.
Yeah.
I did.
Michigan State and the Marquette Beaters, New Mexico.
Honestly, I don't think either of these teams are good. I've been high on Michigan
Michigan's
State all
deeper.
year. They're going to win.
Yeah. I
I cooled off. I didn't like how they looked last night.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, the score didn't reflect how close it might have been. So
But Michigan State's better. New Mexico's not good. It's a bad team. I can't believe Marquette lost to them. I'm going to be kicking myself for months.
Donovan Dent, the best player on the floor there. Come on.
He had 8 turnovers in that game yesterday.
It's awful.
That's crazy, actually. 8 turnovers in this, though.
Turned the best
Not
player over 8 times and still lost.
to rub the salt in the wound, but that is actually just like
I've been
crazy.
thinking about it all day. You're not doing anything more than I haven't done to myself.
Yeah, Tom is on March, though.
Yeah, Michigan State there. I
Yeah.
think Michigan State I think they end up pulling away late again. They'll win by 19.
They're just deep. They're a deeper team.
They're good.
Better.
And I also think this one's a fun one, too. Oregon and Arizona, the last game of the night. This one, to me, I had Akron originally. That turned out god-awful. Bad take by Josh. Oregon,
I had Akron too.
Oregon, this is still kind of a home game for Oregon, so I'm going to go Oregon just purely based off of that.
It's weird this isn't a conference game.
It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
It's true. Yeah,
It's weird.
it feels like it. Yeah,
I hate this realignment of these teams.
it's weird.
It's so
It's weird. I think the Big Five should just come together and make one big conference. But that's
They'll all
a
go into
different topic.
regions, and Oregon and Arizona can be together in the West.
Yeah.
again.
Like it just
Makes
goes
sense.
over there.
How it makes sense.
It's just the dumbest thing.
I had Oregon. I had Oregon winning this one too. I thought Akron was going to win Arizona too.
Yeah,
but
I have Oregon beating Akron in this one, but I do think Oregon beats Arizona. I struggle with this because I think Arizona is actually a better team, but they shoot themselves in the foot so often. When does it happen? I think it happens tomorrow, and I think Oregon.
So we all got Oregon, huh?
Yeah.
Well, anything else from the fellows on the tournament teams? Anything? I
Cole's
think
a coward.
I've always been a BYU leaver.
Why don't you just
the Mormons, man?
Go on part of my take then, okay?
I did
the Mormons came to play, dude.
I actually picked VCU to beat BYU, but we can ignore that.
So did I. Yeah. BYU lever my ass. Only today.
Don't play any defense.
Only
Hey, if you're the Tavern Take commentator, please keep commenting. We love the engagement.
Yeah, let's briefly talk about that real quick. So whoever you are,
we want to know who you are.
We just want to know who you are.
Show your face.
If anybody who doesn't know, we have a burner account that is burning up our Twitter.
It's made good.
So,
or she.
Or she. You never know. Never know.
I think it's Megan personally.
We would love to know who you are.
That'd be awesome.
If you listen to this podcast, tweet at us tomorrow, please. All right, boys. We'll wrap it up for tonight. A little recap from last night and today. Will, where can they find you?
Uncle Poppy 26. Go Gators.
Sawyer?
Sawyerhoff 1. I don't have anything. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
They're about to beat the Kings, in case anybody was wondering. It's 114-108 with 20 seconds.
I wish I could watch it, but FanDuel Sports sucks.
FanDuel Sports sucks.
The NBA sucks.
I'm at Robo39. I'm at Robo39. Go Vols. Go Bucks. Badgers suck. Wisconsin sports just disappoint me year in, year out. And that's how we're ending the podcast. Talk to you later, fellas.
Let's go.